Всем привет, друзья! С вами канал ALEKS.SPb. Я его ведущий Алексей. Вечерний стрим. Посидим, поиграем немножечко. Я обещал, я покажу. Вот совсем, я не знаю, может, часик-другой посмотрим. Да, все, везде ВК-плей пошел, это пошло, везде все идет. Короче, на ВК-плей пока не буду читать, потому что я, короче, все привез, но у меня ни хера не работает. Так что на ютубике почитаем, посмотрим, как на ютубе картинка, вроде нормально все. Я здесь маленько поиграл. Привет, здорово, Артем. Поиграл совсем чуть-чуть, на самом деле. Новая игра. Начнем все сначала. Я просто посидел, посмотрел. Она не оптимизирована вообще, там, блядь, FPS падает до 30. Ну, сейчас посмотрим, как это все будет. Я постараюсь показать вам, ну... Оптимизация, короче, говно. Сразу сказал. Но смотреть можно. То есть поиграть можно. Она в 30 кадров идет.
Office of the Medical Examiner, Beatsville. Dr. Jack Hammond speaking. How can I help you?
Good evening, this is Kate Brooks. I'm not sure if you remember me. A few weeks ago, we talked about an article I'm working on. It's about your wife. I dropped by last Friday to speak to you, but you weren't working at the time. I asked the security guard to pass on a note for me. I would like us to discuss the topic of...
I thought I had made it painfully obvious for the last time. No! Please don't call me again and stop inquiring about my wife. Damn journalists. They don't let me work. God damn it. I'm not in the best frame of mind to record a lecture for my students now. I'm feeling completely broken. Where did I leave my meds this time?
Найди таблетки. Короче, я патологоанатом.
I guess it was in another life. Wednesday. It's not my favorite.
Покурить.
Stephen didn't clean up after himself again.
О, всем привет, слышь, человек на стриме. Ну, да, как я и говорил, 35 кадров. Закрой допуск. Давайте я, наверное, настройки у звук, да, голос персонажа поставлю вот так вот, наверное, где-нибудь на 60, на 70, вот так. И эффекты тоже на 70 поставим пока что. А то очень громко у меня. Таблетки.
Okay.
Мне надо было...
Time to pull myself together.
Ладно, кто соберись.
And get back to work.
Я возвращаюсь к работе.
I need to set up the camera first.
Блять, сейчас. Яркость. Не нормально. Нет, давайте яркость чуть-чуть прибавим, это вообще чуть-чуть. Вот так вот примерно. Ага, вот так вот, да, нормально.
This place is starting to look like a hoarder's dream, rather than... Now remember, Jack, don't forget, hit the record button this time.
Да, это у меня прогрузки, такие же, как и у вас. С этим ничего не сделать.
Hopefully the new tripod is going to hold up.
Ну, чело лежит у меня. Вы принесли. Установите камеру на скакетник. Есть.
Now, I just have to get everything in frame.
Короче, как я понимаю, я...
This should be fine. November 20th, 1991. Time, 8:43 p.m.
Я ночью работаю, блин.
Recording for medical students from the University of Missouri. This autopsy is conducted by Jack Hanman. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the autopsy room. Today, you will have the dubious pleasure of following a full autopsy, step by step. For those of you who have... Let's start. Always wear an apron, mask, and gloves. Goggles are a must when the job is splashy. And in case of sharp accidents, it's worth having disinfectants at hand. It's true that you won't get ptomaine poisoning straight away, but if your liver or kidney aren't doing well, you may end up with diarrhea. Always wear an apron, mask, and gloves. Goggles are a must, and in case of... It's true that... Now, onto the... Let's start. The cadaver is placed on its back on the autopsy table. The pathologist stands on the right of the... Make sure that all the necessary tools are always at hand, so that you don't have to run around looking for something, like I do all the time. In the process of revealing and securing forensic... It is written in... During your research, many...
Да, все, я понял. Изучите материалы дела. А, вот они. Так, изучаем.
The deceased's name is Tobias Chambers, locally known as Old Toby. Homeless and unemployed for at least a couple of years. The body was noticed by a station employee during the morning shift. Initially, he thought that someone had thrown some boots and a coat in a near... The deceased was found on the outskirts of a parking lot. Signs of libation, empty body...
Не меня этого. Короче, понятно. Изучите... Как я изучил.
He worked most of his life at the local port dealing with unloaded cargo. He was fired, that's it. It's worth remembering the context around the scene of a death. This allows you to better interpret any traces found on the body. I shouldn't start the procedure without gloves. Now it's our turn to take some pictures for our files. If I can just remember where I left the camera. It's in here somewhere.
Взять камеру из ящика. А, ну здесь, в принципе, все подсвечивается.
There you are. I knew it was here somewhere.
Polaroid? Вы что, реально Polaroid?
As I mentioned at the beginning, before we begin the internal examination, we need to document the cadaver and the condition it arrived in. We begin with a full body photo. Try and stick to the top-down rule, but this is not always possible. Let's keep in mind it's all about the legibility, not the perfect frame.
Делайте фотографию тела в полный рост. Ага. Сейчас все сделаю. Вот отсюда, да? F. Взять камеру.
Voila. Now we move on to the next step. Looking for traces. Take your time. Look at the corpse from different sides, from different angles, up close, and from a distance. You're looking for anything out of the ordinary.
Короче, мне его надо сфоткать, да? Так. А, во.
Poorly healed wound. Looks old. I'll take a closer look later.
Угу. А, то есть...
Some wounds in the feet and signs of frostbite. Probably because the subject's shoes were too small.
Да? А. О, гематома.
That's something interesting. It will be necessary to check whether this injury was severe enough to cause damage to the brain.
По-моему, рука еще.
Hardened hands,
Да.
worn out by physical work, and frostbite? In a moment, we will check which of our initial observations will be.
Так, сейчас, секундочку. Давайте вот здесь вот 45 поставим.
Worthy of further consideration. But before we get to that, I need to write down some basic data.
Прикрепите фотографии. А, сюда что ли? Провести вскрытие? Давай.
Personal information.
Так,
The deceased was unclothed. Date. Okay. As you can see, I note everything down on previously prepared forms. Every pathologist must keep a detailed record of every step of the autopsy. This not only allows you to track the procedure, but also collates the results together, upon which you may back up your conclusions. So, enough of the boring prep. Let's begin by taking a closer look at the spots I photographed earlier. For this, you're going to need a magnifying glass.
с помощью... А, тап инструмент. Берем луп. Вот.
Which spot first?
Сейчас, секундочку. Тап. Так, с помощью лупа. А, вот она.
It looks like a burn mark. No doubt painful, but it's not pertinent for this case.
Угу. Угу. А, во, я нашел, как это делается.
I can confirm the presence of ecchymosis on the deceased man's head. The appearance indicates the intravital nature of the wound. Add alcohol, which I can clearly smell, and this was an accident just waiting to happen.
Несчастный случай. Ну, может быть.
Here we can see frostbite on the fingertips. We can tell by the characteristic skin color.
Ну, обморожение, да, скорее всего.
Definitely a painful mix of frostbite, abrasions, and blisters. Old Toby had been wearing shoes too small for him for a very long time. That's if he wore any at all.
Угу. Короче, ботинки
So
слишком
far, there are a lot of superficial wounds, but only one serious injury to the head. Let's go back to our notes.
мало.
First, I mark the location of the injuries and make notes for each one. So,
А что надо сделать? Так. А, во, повреждение.
Even though this type of wound didn't contribute to the deceased's death, we're still required to record it. We're not in frost season yet, but high humidity, wind, and the inability to warm up can also be causes of frostbite. The head wound. Definitely an important clue. This is something we'll investigate first. If Toby's body was cold for a prolonged period, the frostbite could have resulted from the body's defense reaction. The safety of the internal organs is more important than fingers, nose, or ears. As you can see, we don't have much to go on. Let's write down what preliminary... This is of no interest to us. Considering the conditions in which he slept, his body may have become hypothermic. Various types of accidents are a common cause of death among the homeless and the elderly. Perhaps old Toby slipped. The nights have been particularly nasty lately. We will check if there are any signs of freezing internally. Since the deceased clearly smelled of alcohol, I'll add alcohol poisoning to our list.
Алкоголь. Ага.
We still have one thing left for the basics. Rigor mortis. Well, we take our deceased by the hand, gradually we raise it.
А, здесь даже вот так, да. А, да. А, вот. Мне надо вот здесь сюда.
Now let it go. As you can see, the hand falls loose. What's the conclusion? Death must have occurred more than 72 hours ago. The police information appears correct.
И что дальше?
Head trauma seems the most promising, so we'll start there. For this, I need an oscillating saw.
Пилы вскройте черепную коробку. Тап. Пила. О, пила.
The cut is made from ear to ear.
Ой, нихуя. Напоминаю, 18+.
After which, we remove the skin and the top of the skull. After the basic examination, we can see that the brain's cerebral gyri in both hemispheres are symmetric. Some pathologists prefer to examine organs without removing them. However, for me, it's much more convenient to examine them on a board, which we'll do now.
Кто не знал, так выглядит человеческий мозг.
Holding a long, narrow blade knife in the dominant hand, we slowly cut the cranial nerves on both sides,
вот так вот, да?
all the time pulling the brain towards us.
Походу мне херовенько после вчерашнего, блядь. Короче, вот так вот вести, я понял.
So far,
Я
so
разобрался,
good.
блядь.
The hematoma seems to have had no effect on the brain.
Короче, гематома нам не повлияла на продолжить вскрытие. Ну, окей.
We can rule the fatal accident out as well.
Ну, короче... Исключить падение.
Brain is in good condition, so we have no choice but to proceed to
я
the
понял,
internal
да.
examination of the
Падение
other
не было, да,
organs.
потому что нету... Ничего нету в этом.
I grab a scalpel from my kit.
Выбрать скальпель и сделать разрез. Да нет, стой. Скальпель? Скальпель?
The incision should be in the shape of a letter Y. We use a deep cut to reach all the way to the ribs and to penetrate the abdominal wall. All right, now we peel back and separate the skin.
Так, убрать инструменты с руки и отвести к А это так работает? Нихуя. Блять, напоминаю, 18+.
Now, we need to remove the ribs. We'll need the loppers for this.
С помощью кусачек удалить ребра.
Quite a satisfying crunch, for some anyway. After removing the cartilage tissue, we instantly notice two things. Firstly, there is no congestion of the internal organs. This means that although the deceased was hypothermic, we can see widespread black and tarry deposits caused by smoking cigarettes. Despite the tragic condition of the lungs, they are not the cause of death. Alice smoked too. It didn't kill her, but... what was I talking about? Lungs.
Как легкие.
Yes. Advanced inflammation.
А что делать? Какую отметку, блядь? Вот так вот. Это так, да, блин? Ну и чё?
What now? The syringe. Now's a good time to collect some
С
samples.
помощью спрося взять 3 образца для токсичного анализа.
Specifically 3. From the eye, vitreous humor analysis is very useful in indicating long-term alcohol abuse. 5 milliliters from the left ventricle should do it. Left on the bladder, we draw about 10 milliliters of fluid. Now we take our samples to the centrifuge. But before I do that, I need to find my notebook. My dyscalculia means that I always double-check the settings.
Взять в кабинете по записку? Ясно.
Please excuse me while I run and fetch it.
Давайте таблетки выпьем. А то что-то ему херовенько. Наверное. Так. Мне нужна книжка для записи какая-то. А вот это, да?
This whole thing is covered in stains. I should check this out under the microscope sometime.
Используйте центрифугу. Поехали. Центрифуга нам нужна. Что там на ВК-плей творится? Кто-нибудь приходил к нам? Просто я не читаю ВК-плей, потому что, блин, ну я еще не сделал себе чат для ВК-плея. Один человек смотрит. Надо еще с ВК-плей разбираться, что там какие-то там надо запускать, какие-то там, что-то там надо делать постоянно. Использовать центрифугу.
Let's get back to the examination. We put all
Центрифуга.
of the samples into the rotor.
Поместите образцы. Взаимодействие.
Now we set the appropriate time and speed.
Теперь выставите заметки. N. Тайм 15 минут. 15 и 70%. Тайм 15 минут.
Okay, let's roll.
Запустить. Ой, я, блядь, я патологоанатом.
Oh shit. The fuses again.
Ничего. Фотки высыло.
Where were we? Oh yes, the blood alcohol concentration. Let's see what we've got here. Everything's separated as it should. Our lab is closed until tomorrow after the last, incident. However, considering that Toby's favorite eau de parfum appears to be ethanol, I'm guessing the results won't surprise me at all.
Понятно.
Let's go further. We will now focus on the cardiovascular system, specifically the heart. We remove the organ and examine it closely. We look for dark hypoxic areas, clots, or other elements that stand out as abnormal. At first glance, the heart looks fine. The pulmonary trunk and aorta seem to be in good condition. There are no pathological changes that would have contributed to Toby's death. Now let's take a closer look at the stomach.
Отойдите, да? Ага. Опять сердце. Опять скрывать? А где оно? Тщательно изучите орган. А где оно? Где сердце? Сердце, блядь, верните.
Size is normal,
А вот.
healthy, pink color. And as expected, the
Ничего
stomach
не
has no major external damage. We must now cut it open and inspect inside. We will do it carefully so that its contents do not spill out.
Открыть надо желудок. Вот он.
We open the stomach along the
Ёп,
greater
давай
curvature,
туда идите.
from the heart to the pyloric end. Oh, I already feel like there's something left inside.
Я же вам обещал что-то необычное. Вот это вообще пиздец необычное, нахуй.
Okay, large amount of gas, small amounts of yellow, grayish food content, resembling some kind of meat. Either our deceased hadn't eaten in days, or the bulk of his stomach had already found a way out. Looks like I'll have to find the missing contents.
Ага. Куда-то, короче, девалась пища. А куда девалась пища?
There are two ways here. One is obvious, and the other is... It couldn't have been suffocation, could it? I'll add this to the list and move on to the deceased's neck. At first glance, the trachea looks normal. Same result as with the stomach. The external inspection doesn't tell us anything. This time we'll cut on a tray.
Короче, вскрытие надо сделать.
While cutting such a small organ as the trachea, we must... To be able to cut with the very tip of the blade, we must hold the scalpel as we would a pen. And after careful examination and deduction, we've got it. A clogged trachea. It's time to summarize the whole thing.
Короче, трахея забита.
Based on the report and preliminary documentation, it's safe to assume that the deceased passed out after consumption of alcohol and then fell asleep on his back.
Короче, напился,
Then
проблевался
the
и,
gastric
блядь, это
contents
самое.
refluxed and flooded the airways, causing death. That's why we don't forget about the recovery position at dorm parties.
Угу. Нахерачился, короче, проблевался и, бля, задохнулся.
And now it's all clear. The death was suffocation. Now, signature. The mystery is solved. But for us, this is not the end. First, the dead body needs to be cleaned up. For this, we will need to close the body and grab the needle. First, we unroll the skin flaps.
Закройте тело. Ага.
And then, we sew the deceased back
С
up.
помощью иголки.
I'm using the baseball stitch technique. This stitching method is very strong and quick to do.
А, да? Прикинь, вот так вот работает патологоанатом. Все, я зашил, блядь. Отойдите от тела.
Now we say goodbye to the deceased and put them safely in the fridge, ready for the next stage of their journey.
Поместите тело в холодильную камеру. А ты чё мусор обычно обратно не поставил?
God, I'm tired. I'll drop these samples off at the lab on the way to the
Отправиться
bar.
на парковку и сесть в машину. Ой, я закончил. А камеру не надо выключать, нет? Камеру, походу, не надо выключать.
I'll call Steven. I don't feel like trekking along today.
Ничего. О! Мы произвели первое вскрытие. Ну что это такое мне снится здесь? Что тебе снится? Мертвое тело. Там глюки, да, у меня? Сейчас, секундочку. Лимонадику налью. Блять. Ты серьезно, нахуй? Дай лимонаду налить. А! Напоминаю, 18+. А можно это пропустить? Походу нельзя. Да с такой работой крышу поедет же. В натуре, бля. В натуре крышу может поехать с такой работой. Черепа какие-то снятся, бля. О! Чекпоинт. ТР номер 1. Где я? Что со мной?
Forgive me.
Блядь. Я, походу, проснулся. А, это, наверное, моя квартира, да? Ботинки сплю, вообще, блядь.
Christ. What a dream. Ah, fuck.
В ботинках сплю. А где я живу? Чё у меня такой беспорядок, блин? А, это, наверное, когда жена умерла, да, и...
So much light everywhere.
Вот это ванна. Да, вот это ванна.
A pill a day keeps the defective jack
Короче, я на
away.
каких-то постоянно наркотиках, таблетках на каких-то красных.
It's a shame these won't help with my hangover.
Угу. Ответь.
The fucking phone. Okay. I know I'm late. I'll be there soon. It's not like the dead are impatient.
Кто-то списал, ага. Джек, ага.
Alice? Who is this?
It's Charlotte Graves.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I didn't recognize you. I thought it was work calling.
It's okay. I hate it when work calls me at home, too. How is everything? We haven't talked since... you know.
Well, there are good days, and there are bad days.
Ну, короче,
What
это
can I
его
say?
подруга звонит.
At least I can hide away at work.
Well, you always were the most comfortable in the dissecting room. Listen, I have an unusual request.
Okay, how can I help?
It's nothing serious. I just wanted to ask. Do you have any pictures of Alice?
А, фотографии
Maybe
с
when the
Элис,
two of us
ага.
are together? I'd love to have something to remind me of her.
I
Память о ней.
guess. I'm not sure. I'll look through her things.
Thank you. I'm sorry to trouble you with this. All this can't be easy for you.
I'll get through it somehow. I've been meaning to sort through her stuff for a while. Have you asked Stephen if he has anything?
Yes, I spoke with him this morning. He said he gave everything to their mother and that I should ask you.
I see.
Jack, I know you're trying. That you cope somehow. Stephen's there for you. Although, well, we all know how he can be. But, I mean, if you wanted to reminisce about Alice, talk.
I really should go now. I overslept, I'm late for work, and I still have some errands to run on the way.
Oh. Okay, sure. Sorry to keep you.
I'll look for something and send it over. Thanks for the call, and bye.
Oh, do you have my address?
Not on hand. You'd best remind me again.
292 Browning Lane, apartment 432.
Короче, надо
Johnson
отправить
City,
ей
New York.
фотографию.
Got it. Thanks.
Thank you. Just miss her so much.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Thank you.
You too, Charlotte.
Короче, фотку надо отправить.
Well, that was a bit
Да иди
unexpected.
таблетку
I should
выпей, что ты,
probably
блядь,
find something to send.
Таблетки-то где? Короче, это мое...
I'm not in the mood for music lately.
Это моя дом. Моя дома, блядь. Угу.
Some days, I just feel like setting fire to all this paperwork. I'm fed up with it.
Где-то должны быть фотки.
I wasn't able to support her through this.
Угу.
Till death do us part.
Кольцо. А это что-то
It was a miracle that the coffee didn't wash off the writing. And that she said yes.
ручка. А, ну это,
She got it for her first day at work,
её вещь.
and she broke it the same day. She said it was for luck. It's always good to have something for a rainy day.
Короче, мне надо найти фотку. А где она фотка? Это хер знает. Короче, у него умерла жена. Ну или кто там? Любовница, подруга, не подруга, да, там жена. А он работает патологоанатом. Да. Это,
It's
кстати.
been almost a year.
А год прошел уже.
I really need to get this laundry done.
Нихера уже год прошел. А где ну за год поэтому у него такой беспорядок был.
Some days, I just feel like setting fire to all this paper.
Короче, мне надо
An
найти
indispensable element of every office. I should really try and read a few of these. An indispensable element of every office. I should really try and read a few of these. An indispensable element of every office. I should really try and read a few of these.
А где фотка может быть? Где-то здесь? Ящики.
Alice didn't like this portrait.
А это Элис портрет. Бля, какой у него беспорядок. Не, ну это я уже открывал. Погоди, стой. Я все проверил.
It's always good to have something for a rainy day. It's always good to have something for a rainy day.
Не, вот там что-то еще светится.
It's always good to have something for a rainy day. I wasn't able to support her through this.
А вот это как взять? А там записка, наверное, да, просто?
Alice and Charlotte in
бля,
Amsterdam.
Занафиг.
It's hard to believe they've known each other for so long. These were from Thanksgiving. Stephen invited me. I was going to give them to his mother, but then I met Alice. It was the first time I saw her.
А, конверт я где-то
It would
здесь
be better if Charlotte had this. It deserves to be on display and not hidden in a drawer. Okay, time to go to work. I'm seriously late.
Отнесите письмо в почтовый ящик. Я могу выходить, да, отсюда? О, у меня есть квартира, я могу выходить.
I should grab some coffee and aspirin on the way.
Ёпту, где я живу-то, блядь? Это что такое? Это что за блевать?
These fluorescent tubes are brutal.
Так, что дальше? На первую. Поехали, ладно. А, ну то здесь есть и другие локации. Да. Живу, короче, в каком-то квартале непонятном. Ехит. Ёп твою тебя. Вот это вот блевотина. Это где это я, блядь, нахожусь-то? Ёбаный кибастос.
I hope this helps, Charlotte. Okay. All done here. Time to go.
Пора идти.
Huh?
Короче, блядь, куда-то... А, это твоя тачка? Нихуя.
Damn. I forgot my jacket. Well. I'll brave it for tonight. Too bad.
Сесть в машину и отправиться на работу. Отправился, бля. У меня по-прежнему 30 FPS, блядь.
Nice and fresh. At least it's peaceful here.
Нихуя. Здесь, говорит, по крайней мере, спокойно. Где, блядь? Зайдите в кабинет.
Good evening, Mr. Ridley.
С кем,
The
блядь?
timesheet handman.
А, здесь есть охранник? А, да, прикиньте, здесь охранник есть.
Some corpses have more personality than this guy.
Здесь есть кухня. Здесь пицца валяется. Здесь, короче, есть где пожрать. Ага, понятно. А, ну здесь я был. Да зачем ты перед собой-то закрыл дверь? Здесь мои таблетки. Надо пойти пожрать таблетки. Таблетки обязательно надо перед работой принять. Что-нибудь поменялось? Вот эта дверь была... А, дверь открыли. Мне что-то починили даже, прикиньте. Только чего это, блядь? Ничего не работает. Короче, кабинет мне починили какой-то. Деньги выделили.
Christ. Who leaves the window open in the middle of November? So I'd better check the
Проверка
answering
сообщений.
machine.
А, на телефоне?
Hi, Jack. I dropped by a little early today. I left the body with Ridley in the corridor. He wasn't sitting in the locker then, so maybe he'll even throw him into the room. Well, how are you doing? I mean, it's your first birthday without her, and... I still have a hangover, and you know me, I run to the John like the neighbor's fucking dog. You know, today I slipped on his shit again. That fucking furball. He always has to shit next to my car. Anyway, I can't come over in the evening, but we'll catch up on the weekend, okay? Bye. Fuck, I almost forgot. Charlotte called me this morning. She asked about you, so answer your calls, Jack. This time it's not a reprimand for being late.
That's par for the course. I wonder when this clown will learn to look under his feet.
Он мне текст прислал.
Birthday. I actually forgot it was today. Alice baked me muffins like these. A treat for later. I always crave some... apron, gloves...
Найдите фотку, которая висит в прозекторской.
What?
Кофе не хочешь?
Still no mold? What kind of cheap and nasty coffee is this?
У меня есть прозекторская, а прозекторская это что? Это вот это прозекторская, да? Или нет? Или нет? А, у меня есть такая хуйня, прикиньте. Фотку в прозекторской.
I don't see any need to mess with the electrics. They are flaky enough as it is.
Давайте везде двери открываем. Прозекторская. Вот это прозекторская.
Ah, man. I remember you. You were on that
Опять?
talent show. What was your name again? I need to order another
Опять
batch of these.
вскрытие, блин.
I've got to remember to do that later. And that's the whole point. Steven laughs at me for recording everything. He says I have a bigger collection of stuff like this than...
Ну, как обычно, блин.
November 21st, 1991. Time, 9:13 p.m. The autopsy
Я
is
по ночам
conducted by
работаю.
Jack Hanman. Lecture for the Medical University of Missouri. After yesterday's lecture, you should already know the ins and outs, so today we'll be consolidating our knowledge. So, where do I start?
Изучите
That's right,
материалы
Billy's
дела.
folder.
Ну, это как сейчас, как обычно. Изучаем.
Ah, yes, Samantha Barker. Now I remember. There's probably going to be a lot of chatter about this. Found in her own apartment by police patrol. Officers were called by a concerned friend of the deceased, who had been unable to contact Barker for several days. During the interrogation, a friend of the deceased admitted that Samantha never got to grips with the sudden fame that came after winning such a high-profile talent show. The deceased was found in her own apartment, in a semi-recumbent position on an armchair. Large quantities of alcohol and empty packets of sleeping pills were also found in the apartment. After her first album became a commercial success, she was hit with a creative drought. When questioned, friends admitted that Samantha's last days before losing contact seemed extremely happy and relaxed. She also quit drinking alcohol and mentioned something about rehab.
Ага.
The friend
То есть
also
она
admits that
наркоманка.
there was no indication of an
Ну, то
impending
есть это
tragedy.
самое.
Well, let's see what settled this matter.
А
As you can see, the
одежду
body
мы
is fully
есть.
clothed. Therefore, before we move on to photographic documentation, we must remove the clothes. This time, we don't have to focus on the clothes too much. However, there are cases where a clothing analysis can lead to the cause of death.
Мы продолжим через минутку. Сейчас начнем, секундочку. 5 трупа одежду. Так. У меня какое-то время не будет, я, наверное, ну там напишу в ВК. У меня просто брат умер старший.
Okay, now we can continue with the examination. Again, begin by taking photographs of the cadaver. I guarantee that over time it will cease being embarrassing for you.
Постримим, а завтра, ну и завтра может быть.
First, we photograph the whole body. And now, any suspicious-looking marks or wounds. Yes, I've seen this many times.
А вот у него.
You don't get such bruises from a normal contusion.
На шее удушение.
Interesting. Very uneven. We need to investigate this. Well, well. There's even more here.
Вот это. Нет, не это. А, это я вот сфоткал, наверное, да? А, вот она. Нихера у него там отметок, блин.
A few we will need to look into here.
Фига она побитая. Ну или она была в наркотическом опьянении. И падала постоянно, блин. Или что-то еще произошло.
Notes prepared. Time to take a closer look.
А, лупу надо взять.
Such bruises are caused by either a very heavy blow or by some internal issues. Some furrows have imprinted more strongly, others less, as if someone was, undecided? The number of bruises suggests that there may have been some kind of tussle.
Вот с кем-то она бы дралась стопудово, блин.
And here's something interesting. The skin of the deceased is covered with numerous blisters. Some of them are ruptured. Others still contain fluid residue. More numerous blisters. We have some leads to investigate here. Let's write this down.
Планшет.
On the neck of the deceased, we can see clear furrows, indicating that strangulation may be the probable cause of death. Currently, it's difficult to say whether the bruises were the result of a beating, or whether it could be some kind of internal bleeding. In general, such blisters usually appear in the case of mechanical abrasions, but due to the place of occurrence, this should be excluded. The most likely cause of such skin, although it's easier to have abrasions on your feet, but the number and size of the blisters suggest that it's probably a matter of barbiturate poisoning.
Отравление у него было. А, да.
Given the condition of the deceased, it's difficult to tell immediately whether the bruises were the result of a struggle or perhaps the result of iron deficiency.
Вопрос, да? Вопрос.
A severed spinal cord, trauma to the larynx, or trachea will vary. After examining the organs, we can easily verify whether there was internal bleeding. I'll add barbiturates to the list of necessary tests
Ну, как я и
to be checked in the
говорил, да.
lab later. The examination with a UV lamp will dispel some doubts. Potential
или не
attackers
хотят
could have left
встретиться.
traces. Given the testimony of the victim's friend, I add alcohol poisoning to the list of potential causes of Miss Barker's death. A blood test will no doubt quickly verify that hypothesis.
посмотрите
But
с
first I'll
помощью
check for
ствола.
external traces. For this we use the good old UV lamp. I look carefully at the whole body. UV rays will reveal any traces. Torso. The area around the head is empty. Right hand clean. Legs, there's nothing here.
И чё? Ну, осмотрел. А чё не происходит? Ничего.
The left hand seems to be fine. No marks. Ah, well, nothing to surprise us here. Now gently, we take the deceased by the hand.
Да. Да.
And we check for rigor mortis. Again, the hand falls freely. After yesterday, you should know what this means. Since we don't have a definitive lead, we will examine all the key organs one by one. So, I'm starting the internal inspection.
Осмотр.
I dissect the skin of the deceased. And I proceed to deflect the skin flaps. Compared with yesterday's body, the deceased has only trace amounts of adipose tissue.
Да где там? Вот здесь.
Now for the ribs.
Мгм.
What do we have here? Or rather,
Ой, ёпт.
what don't we have? There is certainly no sign of internal bleeding. Sometimes
Принц.
regarding bruising, it doesn't take much. My wife was constantly banging into
Сердце?
furniture,
А, ну да.
walking into door frames. That's a wonder she never broke anything. Before I disembowel the deceased, I will take samples for toxicological tests to determine the alcohol content in the body. I just need my syringe. Just to be all done. I'll transfer these to the centrifuge. What was it? 15, 70, 10, 75?
Пойдемте.
Maybe one day I won't need my notebook.
А можно бухнуть? Нет? Нельзя.
Numbers have never been my strong point. It's probably why I regularly forgot
Пойдем тогда
birthdays and anniversaries. I'm lucky
закинемся.
Alice always forgave me.
Таблетки всегда помогают. Всем привет, друзья, всем здорово. Да, вот такой вот необычный у меня стримчик получается. Такая вот необычная игра.
Gently does it with this old thing. Handle with kid gloves.
Так, N. 15.70. Опять 15.70.
I'm starting the centrifuge. Let's see what results come out. The laboratory is already open, so... Fucking hell!
Как обычно.
Ridley! Mr. Ridley! Where is he? The fuses need resetting. Fuck it. I'll do it myself. I swear there was a flashlight in here.
А где он, блядь?
Whatever. I know where the switches are anyway. First the right, and then the left. Your other right, Jack. Your other right, Jack.
Проверьте предохранители в хранилище. В каком, блядь, хранилище? Блядь, здесь вообще кромешная темнота. Блин, а можно чуть-чуть посветлее? А где? Это кабинет. А это что? Блядь. Фонарик есть? Так, а фонарик-то есть?
Your other right, Jack.
Так, ну здесь ничего не светится. А здесь? И хранилище. Проверьте предохранители хранилища. Нет, это не здесь. Так, это что? Да? Это не хранилище. Это мой кабинет. Это туалет. Это кухня. Непонятно. Всем привет. Чё там? Не понял. А где преда-то проверить? А можно домой уехать просто? М? На тачке можно сесть и уехать домой. Да как это работает?
And voila.
Да. Да ладно, ты серьезно, блядь? Это предохранители? Это, блядь, вообще эти самые, блядь.
What?
Чё там стучишь, блядь? А ты где? Ты куда делся-то, сука? Короче, он куда-то съебался, блядь.
What the? Oh, for fuck's sake. Can't I work in peace? Jack Hanman speaking.
Easy, why so rude?
Steve? Sorry, man. This place is falling apart, and Ridley won't even lift a finger to help. You just can't work here.
Did the centrifuge strip the fuses again?
Yeah, eventually everything's gonna go up in smoke.
Look on the bright side. It's a free cremation with your autopsy.
Jesus, stop it. That shit pisses me off.
Okay, sorry, Jack. Anyway, I'm calling to ask how the autopsy's going. Soon there'll be journalists sniffing around for info, so we'd best be ready.
I'll whiz through this in a couple of hours. It doesn't look like a complicated case to me. More of a formality. The report will be available in the morning.
Sounds great. Thanks. Phew! How's your head?
Well, my head seems better than yours. On the way to work.
Holy fuck. Jack, turn on the radio.
What? What's happening?
Quiet.
A 3-car police convoy was involved in an accident near Pete's Bay Bridge while transporting prisoners to Orleans Parish Prison. At the moment, we do not know the exact number of victims or whether any of the convicts escaped. However, the scale of the accident indicates a large number of victims, possibly even fatal ones. Police are on their way to investigate the incident and secure the area. We know that the injured prisoners are on death row. The police were to transport them to their execution, which was to take place tomorrow morning. Many of them are very dangerous criminals. We will report on the matter on an ongoing basis, so stay tuned with us.
What? Was, Steven, was Red Pete one of the passengers? He was, wasn't he? What if he survived?
Jack, I have to go. You want me on site?
What if he survived?
I gotta go. Talk to you later, okay?
Fuck. Calm down, Jack. Pills. I need my pills. You heard him, Jack. A serious accident. Lots of victims. He's definitely dead. Yes. Nothing's going to happen. Christ. I've got to get back to work. What?
Пошел нахуй.
Technical break. At least I know I can pursue a career as a janitor if I need to. Fucking hell!
Ты можешь заткнуться, блин.
Alright, let's see if we were able to get anything out of this piece of crap. And miraculously, yes. The samples did spin. I'll transfer them to the chromograph in the lab.
Поместить образцы на стойку.
Alright, let's load this up. I placed the test tubes in the rack.
А, вот. Да?
Now, just take 5 milliliters from each.
Угу. Угу.
Precisely. And the next. Five more. We put the prepared sample into the machine.
Ебать, сколько.
Let's see what we have here. The results indicate that the deceased did consume alcohol shortly before her death. However, this is not an amount that could cause poisoning leading to death. Just slight inebriation.
Угу.
I can return to the body and continue the rest of the examination. The chromatograph results show that we can eliminate alcohol poisoning from our list of potential causes of death. However, remember that alcohol can affect the functioning of the entire body. It disturbs the heart rhythm, accelerating its rate, and dilutes the blood, which may result in more severe bleeding in the event of an accident. Also remember that alcohol affects the metabolism of drugs in the liver, which I'll now look at in more detail. First, I'll pick up the syringe again.
Так. Так, шприц.
I'll take samples from the liver and the heart to test the concentration of barbiturates in the body. That's enough. I'll do the test later. I'd best not try my luck with the centrifuge right now.
Тщательно
Now I
изучить
remove
органы.
the
А
liver.
какие? Вот эти, да?
No lesions. However, it is slightly enlarged. Perhaps it's a slight inflammation or drug-induced damage. It may also be the result of the deposition of substances from drugs. Let's check the weight of the organ.
Взвести печень. А где печень?
The weight is 1,300 grams.
Кило 300.
The liver is enlarged.
А.
I'll move on to a cross-sectional study. Perhaps the enlargement is the result of early cancerous changes. The blade glides through smoothly. I don't feel like I'm encountering any changes with an unusual structure. No steatosis or cirrhosis. The liver is actually quite clean inside.
Продолжить проведение вскрытия.
The liver is basically healthy. We already know that the deceased didn't abuse alcohol. The question is, what about drugs or other substances? I move on to the heart. Oh. At a glance, we can see signs of a heart attack. The deceased is definitely too young to have a heart attack due to natural causes. The liver is enlarged, not from alcohol poisoning, and the heart looks like it has collapsed. So, I guess we need to go to the centrifuge and check for these barbiturates. The last time I saw this kind of poisoning was a few years ago. I better check the data in my notebook. He was a middle-aged guy. He took his medication and forgot about it. So, he took another pill. He forgot again and took another one. And another one. Until he took the last one. That's why it's better to have amnesic drugs in boxes labeled with... Alright.
Заметка. 1570. Да, куда скажу? Ой, сколько заметок-то. А какой правильный? 1075. Нет, нет, не 1085. А, 90-10 минут. А. Так, нет, не это, да? Не это, значит. Десять 85. Десять 75.
We close the centrifuge and pray that it doesn't trip anything again.
Угу.
It looks like our luck is in.
А что, даже ничего не выбило, что ли? Да, ну нахуй. Да, возьми ты их.
We can take the samples to the lab now. I wonder how she was able to get hold of these drugs.
Ведь на стойку идти.
Okay, 2 samples this time. Six milliliters each.
6 миллилитров каждый объем. Ага. Угу. Угу.
Well, let's see how much of it we find. Nothing surprising. Significant amounts of phenobarbital metabolites of hepatic origin. Looks like I'll have to check the contents of the deceased's stomach.
Короче, дело не в этой херне. Надо желудок.
The tests showed that the collected blood contained enough barbiturates to cause cardiopulmonary collapse. The question now is whether it was an accident or a deliberate act. I'm proceeding to examine the stomach. Before extraction, I ligate the entire organ to prevent its contents from spilling out. Okay, I'm now cutting out the organ, which will move to the board for dissection.
Препарируйте желудок.
Normally, the stomach and intestines are full of surprises.
Что мы там найдем? Да. Ну, с похмелья.
This time, we see remnants of
Таблеточки, да?
undigested food and a dense mass of pills. You don't take this many drugs by accident. Length and width normal. No obvious pathological changes. Undigested drugs found in the stomach of the deceased.
Барбитурат.
The direct cause of death was probably an overdose. I'll check the rest of the deceased's trachea is normal. Complete patency. No, lungs are normal. No lesions. The victim was probably a smoker, but was unlikely to be in any serious danger. The deceased's intestine is normal. No clear pathological changes. Abdominal cavity checked off. We can check the brain. I make a cut to open the lid of the victim's skull and remove the brain. Brain is normal. No obvious lesions. Alright. I need to dissect it on a board.
Да. Такая вот.
Using a knife, I carefully cut through the brain tissue. I peek inside a bit, and... I don't think there's anything worth noting. As expected, the deceased's brain is in excellent condition. No discoloration or changes due to hypoxia. There is still the matter of the marks on the neck. They look superficial, but who knows? Maybe the spinal cord has been severed. I need goggles and a saber saw. I think the goggles were in the desk drawer. Oh, they're out there.
Пойдемте таблетки примем. Ему что-то херовенько.
Saw. I need saw. Fuck. I don't see it here. Oh. I know. I probably left it in the basement after its last cleaning.
Просите Ридли, где ключи от подвала. А Ридли это кто, блин?
Mr. Ridley, I need a key to the basement.
It's in the social room.
Why is the key lying in the... never mind. Thank you.
Hey, Hammond. Did you hear about the convoy? Well, maybe you'll get a chance to relive your glory days and catch Red Pete again, huh?
Let's hope there won't be a need for that.
Где ключи от подвала, я прослушал.
If only he could put that much enthusiasm into his work. I get the feeling that searching through this rubbish is more pathogenic than working with corpses. Please, may this be the last trip.
Ну, здесь подвала не было.
Why did the prison convoy have to get into an accident? Jack, take a deep breath. Deep, pleasantly cool breath. You're nearly finished with the autopsy. Then you can go home and rest.
Вот он.
I'll take the saw. Fuck! It's jammed! Doesn't anyone do maintenance around here? Damn hatch. Damn red Pete. Will I ever again? Will I ever be free of that fucker? If only.
Ты реально, что ли, блядь? Такие вещи вообще должны быть там быть.
It would be easier if I put things away properly. Ugh, damn student lectures and their fucking props. And like clockwork, he's already sleeping. Sorry for the short interruption. I hope you all took the opportunity to grab some coffee. And now that I have everything I need, I'll move on to revealing the spinal cord.
Чего, блядь?
The spine is removed. I can see that the spinal cord was not severed. This shows that apart from the marks around the neck, hanging didn't negatively affect the condition of the deceased. Ladies and gentlemen, almost over. Now, to sum up and tidy away the body. The direct cause of Samantha Barker's death was a heart attack resulting from an overdose of barbiturates. Traces found on the body suggest that the overdose was a deliberate act, following a failed attempt to hang herself. The autopsy found no evidence or genetic materials indicating that death could have been the result of an attack. Third-party involvement must be excluded. Autograph, and we can start sewing. In the 1950s and 1960s, the use of barbiturates for suicide was actually quite common. I think it was most talked about after the death of Marilyn Monroe. At home, it was a help and comfort. On death row, a farewell to the convicts. Well, we're done for today. Thank you for your attention. Tiring day. I can feel those hunger pains coming on. I guess I'll have to pick something up along the way. Gloves in the trash, leave the apron for cleaning.
Вот это игрушка, блядь.
Now I can go. Camera. A nightcap will do me good. Good night, Mr. Ridley. The police will pick up the body and accompanying documentation in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I guess there are actually two things in this world you can be certain of. Death and Ridley's reluctant attitude. Alright, maybe three things. My whiskey on the rocks when I get home.
Ух ты, блядь. Вот это игра, блядь.
So cold. I guess I should have brought my jacket to work. This block can be quite intimidating when it's so quiet. Almost there. Stephen didn't want to go out for a drink tonight, so I'll drink my whiskey in the company of my TV. Shit. I forgot the muffin. Well, Ridley will have a nice treat for the night. I'm sure he'll be his happy, thankful self tomorrow.
А где я живу? На каком этаже? А, здесь, да?
What? What? What the fuck? But I locked it. I'm sure of it.
Меня ограбили.
Who the fuck did this? I don't have anything valuable. Money. They must have stolen the money. Fuck! Great. That's all I need. I wasn't able to support her through this.
Mm-hmm.
She got it for her first day of work, and she broke it the same day. She said it was for luck. These were from Thanksgiving. Stephen invited me. I was going to give them to his mother, but then I met Alice. It was the first time I saw her. Where? I need my pills. I can't get my thoughts together.
Красная таблетка просто есть и все.
Okay. I'm gonna have to report this to the police. Christ. Why did the neighbors not report anything? I'm calling Stephen. Stephen?
Now, Jack, I told you, I'm going for a drink with you for another night in a row.
That's not why I'm ringing. Although I could do with one. Someone broke into my apartment.
What? Did anyone see anything? Have you called the police yet?
No, I don't think so. Anyway, no one contacted me. As for the police, I'm calling right now, officer.
All right. Do you want me to head round? Look for any trace evidence?
I don't know. No, I guess not. Honestly, I don't have the strength to deal with it right now. I just want to lie down.
Are you sure? Because it's no trouble at all.
I think so. I'm sorry. I just wanted to calm down a bit. I don't know. That's probably some stupid joke. Only money was stolen.
Money? From Alice's box? Oh, fuck. Listen, I can come over. I have the key. I'll drop by, do what I need to do, and you go get some sleep.
No, don't trouble yourself. Lately, I've been just so tired and distracted. I don't know. Maybe I forgot to close the apartment door on my way to work. If anything else is missing, I'll let you know and call the police.
All right. Just make sure you close it tonight. If you see anything weird tomorrow, let me know. Whoever did this may be watching you.
I don't think anyone is dumb enough to come back.
You're probably right. Take care, Jack. If you need anything, call me.
I promise I will. Thanks, Stephen. Sorry to bother you again. I've just been all over the place lately.
It's
Good night.
Угу. Спокойной ночи, говорит.
What? I guess I should clean this shit up. Where to start? Maybe I could barricade the door with this. I should pack this thing away. I have no interest in DIY at the moment. Now I'm sure I won't get caught up in these papers. Alice's family should really have some of these. What a mess. Now if only I could blame this on the burglars. There you go. To be honest, I could leave it like this. I still don't understand why Alice liked this painting so much. Shit. The glass in this thing needs to be replaced.
Jack, why?
That's enough for now. Ugh, I think I'm just tired.
Ну, наверное, я, говорит, просто устал.
Oh yeah, I should take my pills. I feel like it takes me forever to finish these things. That's enough. It will never look clean. I need to quickly change and finish getting ready. I'm gonna be late for work again. Got my keys, got my files, check. Time to go. Remember to close the door properly, Jack. I'll ask the neighbors tomorrow if they saw anything suspicious. Ugh. I wonder if Ridley fixed the coffee machine. Huh?
Живу в какой-то, блядь, этой самой. Не понял. А, теперь понял. Живет в каком-то говне, блядь, на самом деле.
Maybe a bit optimistic. I'm exhausted. I wonder who Stephen brought in today. Good morning, Mr. Ridley. Oh, he's not here yet? No, I'll deal with Adam.
Не говорит, еще нет, ладно, не страшно. Там, кстати, вон какие-то гробы, блядь.
Almost there. Now for the tough part. The body needs to be moved. Where's Ridley when you need him? Oh, right. I just need some gloves and my apron. Then I can get to work.
Ты чё
I'm
искать
going to
мне
need my
иди
tape
сюда,
recorder for
Лизавра?
this. Autopsy dated November 22nd, 1991. 7:32 p.m. Led by Dr. Jack Hanman. I begin by verifying the identity. It's most likely Harper Lloyd, age 30. It is also known that the deceased was diagnosed with affective bipolar. The last person who had contact. Police records also show that Mrs. Lloyd. Firefighters found the body after the Chelsea family began complaining that their tap water tasted strange. And the most important task in forensic identification of a drowned person is to distinguish whether the death occurred before or after entering the water. Okay, that could have been worse. I carefully removed the victim's clothes so as not to damage the skin. The deceased was found. One shoe was missing. I'm going to need the camera to document all possible suspicious marks.
А давайте мы с вами на этом закончим. В следующий раз мы продолжим. Может, да... Короче, такой стрим получился. Давайте закончим на этой ноте. Вот. Продолжим в ближайшие 1-2 дня, может завтра, может послезавтра. Короче, как с похоронами все рисую, так сразу продолжу. Всем счастья, добра, удачи. Всем хорошего настроения. Берегите себя. Подписывайтесь на канал в Дискорде, на канал ВК Play, YouTube, на группу ВК. Везде подписывайтесь, ставьте лайки. Если вам это видео понравилось, ставим лайки. Ну, я думаю, или продолжим, или не продолжим, не знаю. Наберем 150 лайков, значит продолжим. Не наберем, значит не продолжим. Всем хороших выходных, хорошего вечера. Всем пока-пока.